Hello, Kelly Zitlow here with the American Dream TV show, and I am bringing to you two local real estate experts to talk about home and shelter and what's taking place in their respective communities. So, Scott, thank you so much for joining us. You're out of Los Angeles.
Indeed, my pleasure. I showered for this. I'm very excited.
And Holly out of St. Louis, Missouri. I love the fact that you guys are across the country from each other. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So let's just dive into it. You know, real estate truly is the foundation of our country. And, the COVID is having an impact nationwide. I really want to get granular, though, and kind of dive into what's taking place and what are you seeing with home and shelter in St. Louis, Missouri. So, Holly, we'll start off with you.
Well, we've been quarantined at home for about a month now. And for me, it really hasn't affected my business. I'm with eXp Realty, and we are virtual to begin with. So every part of my business has been virtual. The one thing I'm starting to put in place is the virtual 3D showings for my listings, because then people can walk through them, do a full 360 view and take a look that way. That can make a difference. However, with my buyers, I've been very, very busy. We are able to show if a seller is open to letting us be in their home. We're showing vacant homes. I actually have a showing, as I was saying, in about 40 minutes. And I had a buyer just on Monday that we put under contract that is a doctor out of New York. And he cannot travel here. He has a job starting in August. And so I went and videoed the home for him, FaceTimed with him. I mean, without technology, I'd say it would affect real estate a lot. But the fact that we have such amazing technology now, we put that under contract, having inspections today. So still moving forward, still busy.
And I think it's important to know that realtors in St. Louis are deemed to be essential.
We are essential, and I'm grateful to be so that we can help people through this time, because even though, we need to be very, very careful, and we are, there are people who still need to find a home, who need to get moved. And so if we can make that easier for them, or sell a home, absolutely. Same thing. They may be selling and buying, or they may be in the middle of the process and wanting it to close, needing it to close in order to move forward. So we are still working as hard as we can for our clients and making it happen. Absolutely.
So Scott, halfway across the country, let's jump over to you. You're in Beverly Hills, California.
Yes, indeed. It's been interesting. LA was one of the first ones, or California, starting to get the shutdown. So I've been getting my quarantine on. We were deemed essential for minutes, that we weren't, and we were. Now we're not. But, things are happening. We have a lot of forms we're filling out. Like Holly said, people have to sell homes. People have to buy homes. People have emergencies. People need to be out. So it's not just going, with a casual buyer per se, but there are necessary things that need to be done for people, to move and buy and sell. So things are happening. Just have a lot of disclosures for it. For me, it's been interesting. I'm just really working on pivoting my messaging. The first few weeks have been very empathetic and, figuring out what I can do to help, being creative that way. But also there's an offensive, I'm trying to pepper in between good messaging and taking offense, because things are happening. There's things that we can capitalize in the market as far as our messaging and our branding and what we can do to help the community in this time, to come on top. There's going to be a lot of great things happening from this. It's, from these things, from downsides, issues going on in the world. There's going to be a lot of interesting things. I'm very excited to see what that happens. I'm just kind of looking for those opportunities. And that's not my phone.
Sorry about that. That was my title company.
Love it.
So Scott, because realtors are not deemed to be essential in California, I would think that you're having to be a lot more creative with how you're doing business.
For sure. We have, Power of American Dream is always good for video content. I've done a lot of my tours already, so I'm repurposing that. 3D tours, Matterport tours, being creative, vacant homes. I'm going to start actually, someone I saw put together like the top 10 vacant homes. So I'm going to work on doing that in my area. It's getting a lot of traction, so I want to do that. And I think pivoting towards that, and I work with a lot of developers as well. A lot of those guys just are looking for dirt pricing anyway. So I'm kind of focusing on that for the meantime. In addition, to getting all things, on point as far as, what we can do different and be creative. Zoom meetings, Zoom listing appointments, virtual tours with the phone, FaceTime, all that stuff. It's different. It's fun. It's something you just have to do from the presence of your own home.
It's virtual everything right now, right? So everything's virtual. But I also think that we're going to learn things through this. This really stinks, and it is what it is, and it's impacting so many people. And my heart just goes out to those impacted by it and actually have COVID. But from just a business standpoint, we're all having to do business a little bit different. And I actually think there's going to be some good that comes out of it. So let's talk about opportunity, because Scott, you started to lean into this a little bit. I want to dig a little bit further. So where was your market leading into COVID? Were you in a limited inventory standpoint? What did that look like? And then what's the opportunity today? Scott, let's start with you.
My market was on fire. I mean, it was crazy. Like the second week of January was like, the second week of May. Like it was just like bananas. I put like 8 deals in escrow. Stuff that I hadn't sold prior to, I was working hard on, was getting like 5, 6 offers on. Like everything I had was just selling. Then all of a sudden this happened, and I've lost some of those deals. I've kept a lot in the boat, which is great. But the market was very, very strong. So there's people out there, they're still buying. So that, the messaging, people are kind of waiting for the dust to settle. Volume's down here, but pricing really isn't. For me, everybody's home right now. Everybody's picking up their phone, right? They've got nothing to do, so you can call and talk. And it's the first couple weeks I mentioned, it's just a different type of messaging. I was doing like virtual tour museums around the world and declutter challenge and stuff like that to engage. But there's an offense. There's deals happening right now. There's homes buying and selling. Why not that be me? So I'm picking up the phone. I'm connecting with my clients, seeing how I can help them. It doesn't have to be real estate related at all. Just seeing what they need. If they have any question regarding real estate, if I need to connect them with anybody, those are the things that I'm looking to do and pivot to in this time to come on top. Because again, there's expired listings. People still want to sell their homes. People still need to sell their homes for sale by owners. One important fact, Zillow, the iBuyers, they shut a lot of their stuff down right now. So that's a great opportunity for us agents to call those FSBOs who are kind of leaning on that a lot, so there's so much opportunity, I believe, in that just to get your name out there. Maybe no one's going to sell at this moment. They might, because they don't know what the future brings. But there's an opportunity to get your name out there. And this is where market capture is gained. This is where you gain the share of your market, because a lot of people are spinning their wheels sitting by, and that's just not what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Holly, what about you?
Well, our market has been on fire. We were, for years now, we've been the #1 investment market in the nation because everything cash flows here. So we still have investors who are moving forward. This is obviously a great time to buy. It's a great time to sell. It's still a seller's market. We were low on inventory. We're not as low as we were. But I would say it's really just over this past week for us that I'm seeing less on the daily as to what's going on, what's being listed, where I'm seeing a little less being listed. It's still been, 150 new listings in St. Louis County and City, not county in St. Charles, which is right next door. So, 150, 200, 250, and now we're starting to see it settle down a little bit. So the upside is we are going to have more inventory, which is exciting. I would love to have some more inventory to bring to my buyers and, counteract the fact that we've had so many multiple offers. Everything's been multiple offers, very, very competitive. It'd be nice to, have opportunities where every buyer has an opportunity to actually get the home they want. I also, just on a larger level outside of real estate, I think that what we're going to find coming out of this time on a large worldwide level is that we're all going to go more virtual. Companies are going to go more virtual. They're going to see that they don't need the brick and mortar the way they've used it in the past, that people can work from homes. It will cut back on the environmental impact that our constant commuting in cars and buildings, energy from all of that is having. And I believe we're going to see a healthier world come out of this, and we need to. We really need to be more aware. One of the upsides of EXP is that we are virtual, that we have gotten rid of that brick and mortar. And so on that level, I think that that's a real plus. And I think as agents, we're going to gravitate more and more to that. It looks like Scott works from home mostly. Scott, do you work from home mostly?
I mean, this is my second office. I have an office I go into quite a bit, but I've been working on this a little bit. Got some
Right.
some signs, some pictures I haven't hung up before. I did that over the weekend. So
I like it.
yeah.
I like it. So, so I think we're all starting to like, oh, hey, the commute is really short. And for me, I don't have young kids. So it's been great to work from home. I've really loved it. And I like seeing that environmentally. We're having an impact right now and changing that. So
That's a great perspective. So challenges, let's talk about, what are you guys talking about, sellers, with regard to challenges if they have a buyer that is utilizing financing? Or what are you talking about with your buyers if they're utilizing financing to acquire the property? Because obviously there's some things going on with lending and appraisals and title companies and all those other things that go into this mix. So Scott, let's start with you.
I've lost a few deals. I had some clients who were doing the staged loans. Like, a lot of business owners like to maximize their tax reduction. So they had stated loans, and I lost a few deals with that. What I'm doing, first I'm talking to buyers. I'm kind of just giving, like, no one has a crystal ball what's going on right now. People have ideas of what's going on. People feel like it might be just like, someone went on vacation for 3 months and just comes back in July and August, and it's going to come back on and be, an amazing market again. I'm seeing volume go down, but I'm not seeing prices change too much. So, I'm telling my buyers, there's good deals out there to be had right now if you're qualified. I've got some cash buyers and lenders. If you're, I have people looking right now, and I tell them this is a great time to find something because a lot of people aren't. Like you can maybe get a better deal on something, and you have more opportunity because people are just like, their circumstances have changed. But if you have the opportunity and you're able to find something, like I tell people, this is, you put the pedal down if you can and find something if you're running, because there's a lot of buyers out there still looking. Some are just kind of waiting a little bit longer than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holly, how about you? So challenges with appraisals or lending or any of that part of the process?
Right. And there definitely are. I'd say most Americans, in the central part of the United States are utilizing Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, and VA loans. And right now I have a couple different VA buyers. And what we've found is that lenders are tightening up on their loan requirements. For instance, what their credit score is. So it used to be, you could go down to 580, which was very, very flexible. We were talking about this earlier where it was a rectangle. The box was very wide. And now you're seeing them bring it in to a 660 on average credit score. I do have a lender that we're doing a 620. And so I was worried about that particular buyer. So we're still able to move those forward. And then appraisals, because the rates have been so crazy, they were down in the twos. Everybody's refinancing. So we have all the people who are refinancing along with the sales. And what you're seeing is closing times are being pushed out. So we're not looking at your average, normal 30-day close, which has been great having regular 30-day closes. Now we're 45, 60, even 90 days are what some lenders are talking about. So, that there's definitely an effect from what's going on, and everybody's tightening up on what they want to lend in a time where you've got people furloughed or laid off, or some who have even just lost jobs, and the unemployment is starting to skyrocket. I see it as a moment in time. I don't see this as a recession like 2008. I see this as a moment in time, and I joke that June is the new spring. Summer is spring. Summer is spring. So we'll reconvene in June, and hopefully it'll be back to a little bit more normal. I don't think we'll get back that quickly, but a little bit more normal than it is in this moment.
Yeah.
I think it's also key to set up expectations. Appreciate all the work the notaries, the title companies, the appraiser was doing. And the lenders themselves, but also what I'm also doing is telling my buyers, I had buyers that could qualify something, 2 weeks ago, when those rates took a nice jump down, I'm like, lock it in if you can, because it's going to change, because refis happened, the money dried up a little bit, and the rates went up, even though the Fed, where we had negative interest rates, is 0 right now. So I'm telling them to keep their eye open, because there's going to be fluctuations, and if you're ready to buy, make sure you jump on it when it takes that dip again, so you can get locked in. Because again, I have people that are priced out, in certain pricing ranges now because they waited and now their rates has changed.
Right.
That's great advice. Well, I am so happy to have had you guys today. Thank you so much for sharing your insight. And together we will get through this. Here at the American Dream, our mission is to share positive information, and we couldn't have two more positive professionals in the real estate industry. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Be well, and we will see you soon.